So, namaste everyone. Welcome to day 6 of Reinventing Relationships workshop. This is Pranahita, and I'm so happy to host and organize this 12-day workshop with amazing speakers across the world. Every day, we are taking new wisdom about different types of relationships. And today, we have a great speaker, Kiran Anumalasetti, who is a past life regression facilitator and teacher. His awakening started through an illness called ankylosing spondylitis. After taking medication for 10 years and suffering all the side effects, Kiran made a choice to stop all medicines and start listening to his illness. It helped him to listen to his deeper calling and completely transformed his life. In the course of self discovery, he met his teachers, Dr. Newton Kondaviti and Dr. Lakshmi Kondaviti, founders of Quantum Life University. Receiving their guidance, love, and wisdom, Kiran deeply healed himself and discovered his gifts of therapy and teaching. He is so passionate about research and presented his work in several international conferences like Past Life Regression Conventions, International Association for Dreams Conference, World Congress for Regression Therapy. He also writes columns for The Edge magazine. Kiran also facilitates several self discovery workshops across the world. Also, he is an authorized trainer with Quantum Life University and Indian Advisory Board member with ARR. Personally, I heard his talks few times, and Kiran shares his wisdom from personal experiences and deeply touches the heart and soul of the participants. He's so compassionate and so loving, and his wisdom is amazing, my dear friends. So let us all welcome Kiran Anumal Settigaru to give his great wisdom today. Thank you so much, Kiranji, for being with us today.
Thank you, Pranahita Garu, for having me on this beautiful platform today. And I am really grateful for this opportunity to be part of this wonderful Divine Feminine Sangha. And thank you. And it's wonderful initiative by the entire team to have such beautiful topics. So today we are going to touch upon another important aspect of relationships, which is healthy boundaries and trust. So I would like to give some principles and then a few examples, and then we will do a guided meditation. So why these healthy boundaries are important in a relationship? And first of all, what is a healthy boundary? We live in physical plane. We are spiritual beings, but we are also living in the physical world. We have a physical body, and a physical body also has boundaries. And how much distance we can walk with our legs has a boundary. And how much our voice can reach also has a boundary. So this is a plane of boundaries and limits. Even though our soul is infinite, our true nature is boundless. In the physical plane, we are going through certain limitations. And if we can understand these boundaries, the importance and significance of the boundaries, then we can actually have very good relationships. We can have healthy relationships. We can have joyful and beautiful relationships. Okay, so a lack of understanding of boundaries creates certain difficulties in relationships, in life, but especially in relationships. So we would like to now see the symptoms. What exactly are the symptoms of lack of boundaries? How does one feel when they are not having a healthy sense of boundaries? So if you look at your own life, and you can actually understand many aspects of um, your relationships with people, whether it is your parents or your partner or your friends or the people in your life. Okay. So they constantly test us. All these people in our life, they test our ability to live in harmony with life, ability to live within these boundaries, well defined, healthy boundaries. So people who lack these boundaries, they have certain difficulties, certain symptoms. The first symptom is they lack the ability to say no. They cannot easily say no, or they cannot, um, in a healthy way, in a compassionate way, they cannot say no. So, this is one important symptom. And many people I have seen, they have this problem, not being able to say no, and also have a healthy sense of self esteem at the same time. The second symptom is addictions. People who lack boundaries, they are most likely they have some kind of an addiction in life, whether a substance addiction or um, addiction in any other form, emotional addiction, um, addiction in the form of dependency. So that is the second symptom, and various people have these addictions to various degrees. Some people we see, they are like completely addicted to certain substances, and if we look deeply into the root causes are mostly in the past. And what is an addiction? An addiction is lack of ability to say no. That's why they are addicts. And this ability is lost in the childhood. Usually, it is the toddler age when we learn this ability to say no, because we try to explore our boundaries during the toddler age. We want to separate from the parents and try to explore. We want to touch everything that is there in the surroundings, feel them, taste them, and we try to test our boundaries. So, this is a very important stage of life. And if enough freedom is not given to explore the surroundings during this stage, and enough nurturing and care and support is not given during this stage, then it creates a violation, a shame in the child, and the child loses the ability to say no, and this reflects as an addiction in the adulthood. Another important symptom is interference. So when we don't know where our boundaries are, where we end and where the other person start, that creates um, a problem, because we tend to interfere into other people's lives. We don't know where to end or where to begin. So we go all over the places in other people's lives, and we also allow other people to interfere into our life. So that creates a big havoc. It's not healthy. So that is another important symptom we can see when a person lacks healthy boundaries. And lack of understanding of the limits of the physical world. For example, our body is a physical entity. This body has certain needs. Hunger is a need, sexuality is a need, and love is a need. So, our body gives us signals when these needs are not met. So, a person without healthy boundaries, they cannot understand the language of the body. They tend to ignore the signals given by the body. So they don't have respect for the body's language, the innate wisdom of the body. So they frequently run into health issues. They frequently uh, subject the body to various kinds of problems because of this lack of wisdom to listen to the body. So they also have to struggle with their surrounding world because of the lack of boundaries. These people have to secure their world. Their most of their life revolves around securing their world to create a safe and secure space for themselves. And this is mostly an unmet need from the childhood. And it's the responsibility of the parents to create such an environment, to create such a nurturing, safe space for the child. And when it didn't happen during the childhood, so the child, as it grows up into an adult, it still carries that wound inside and it feels insecure. It feels um, I cannot be vulnerable because it is not safe. I have to create now safe boundaries for myself. And I have to create a secure world where I can be who I am. But the child lacks that ability to create a secure world, secure space for itself. So the child now, who is an adult, depends on other people. So these people, they become dependents on others for creating safety, for creating security, for love, for nurturing, for protection. So such people are called codependent adults. They are called adult children. They are actually adults, but they carry a wounded child within. So these adult children are codependent adults. When they come into relationship, it becomes very, very messy because we cannot be a wounded child in a relationship. What happens if we are a wounded child in a relationship? Whatever needs are not met during childhood, we try to meet all those needs now as an adult in the relationship. We expect our partner to give us the nurturing that we lacked, the love that we missed, the protection and safety that we didn't get from our parents. So, this is codependency. And imagine how a relationship will be if we act as a wounded child. Mostly 80 to 90% of all adults, when they are in the relationship, they act as wounded, needy child. And that is the reason why people cannot be really happy in a relationship. Always their childhood wounds, they come to the forefront and they project them on the partner. This happens unconsciously. So it is important to understand this truth that our partner or our friends or the people in our life, they are not there to fulfill your unmet needs. You can never be happy with such a state. So, and another important symptom of lack of boundaries is the need to control. So if you look at certain people or certain parents especially, they always try to control their children. They have this innate need to control others because they want to feel safe. When things are under control, they feel very safe. This is also an important symptom. They are either too authoritative, autocratic as a parent, or they become completely irresponsible as a parent. So this is also a sign of lack of boundaries. By being very authoritative and very autocratic, a parent actually subjects the child to shame. And a shamed child will never learn the boundaries. So this is how these wounds are passed in a family. Unknowingly or unconsciously, parents pass their wounds to children this way. By over disciplining children, by being authoritative, by shaming children, they actually pass on their wounds. And they are actually indirectly telling them, you are not worthy to be who you are. That is shaming. Telling children in a subtle way that you cannot be who you are. You don't have that self-worth within you to become who you are. And imagine what will happen to a child when they constantly receive these kind of inputs from parents. They grow up into adults who are toxically shamed, who cannot trust in themselves. So it's very important to diagnose our life by looking at our relationships. We have to diagnose what is the problem. Where is the root for this problem in our lives? So most of these roots are in the childhood. And the next symptom is feeling always unsafe. If we don't have healthy boundaries, we feel unsafe because we feel unprotected, we feel exposed, and we feel very vulnerable and threatened, and we feel insecure. And we feel we are, I've seen many clients, many people who are not fully grounded in the physical reality. They feel that they are spiritual beings. They are born to become enlightened, to realize who they are. That is our ultimate purpose. Undoubtedly, everyone has that right to know who they are, to realize who they are. But it is also important to be grounded in the physical reality, because we have to carry on with our work, to take care of our families, to have healthy relationships, to earn money. These are all aspects of physical reality, and we cannot escape them. This physical reality is sometimes hard because it constantly challenges us. Unless we have very strong and healthy boundaries, we cannot be grounded, we cannot be rooted in this physical reality. And once we are rooted, just like how a tree is rooted into the ground, then it can actually spread its branches and leaves into uh, expand towards the sky. That is how our spiritual growth should be. It cannot be like a kite flying. It has to be like a tree growing from the ground. So otherwise, our spirituality becomes a escape mechanism. We try to run away in the name of spirituality from all responsibilities, from taking care of families, from taking care of parents, or from taking care of ourselves. So these are some of the symptoms that we can actually use to understand whether we have healthy boundaries or we lack healthy boundaries. So these people also have identity confusion. They don't know who they are. They um, they almost live in a false um, role, because their motto in life is to actually gain a false identity, either by through work or through wealth or through possessions or through name and fame. One wants to earn some identity. This is the identity confusion, because as a little child we were born with these divine qualities, and we are that divine pure essence. We don't have to become anything, we don't have to prove this worth, but due to this shaming, childhood wounds that are past, we um, run into this identity crisis, and our whole life becomes a survival. Our whole life becomes a race towards this false identity. And no matter how much we gain, how much we accomplish, how much we possess, it is never enough. That is a typical characteristic of a person lacking boundaries. It is never enough for this person. There is no contentment. There is no satisfaction with what is already there, because that is what lack of boundaries means. They are under the belief that they have to have everything unlimited, unlimited name, unlimited fame, unlimited wealth. So that is the identity crisis that many people go through. And if we have healthy boundaries, how does it look? How does our life appear? What are the symptoms? It's also important to understand how uh, one should look when they have healthy boundaries, especially in a relationship. When two people who have healthy sense of boundaries, they come together, how does it look? It's beautiful, because we understand our limits, we understand and respect our limits, we also acknowledge our mistakes. That's what limits means. Physical world is a world of limits, which means that we are bound to make mistakes, we are bound to fail sometimes. And with a healthy sense of shame, there is also a healthy shame. It's in my life, this is a great understanding that I had, and it completely shifted my perspective towards uh, my childhood, my parenting, my parents. And the understanding is that a healthy shame is also essential for survival, for happy life. A healthy shame is just an emotion. Like when a child goes through shyness, a child is denied of um, something, when a child is taught some limits, some healthy discipline, it creates healthy shame. It is essential. But when this shame becomes a state of being, that means it becomes toxic. It is no more an emotion. It is driving who you are. It is saying that you are not worthy, you are false, you are defective. That is toxic shame. And toxic shame creates um, unhealthy boundaries or lack of boundaries, because a toxically shamed person cannot have a healthy sense of uh, I amness or who I am. It's very important. That is one of the principal objectives of childhood. That is what a child is trying to do. He or she is trying to create a healthy sense of I am. And the parent has a tremendous role to play in it. It is such a sacred job, and it's not very easy. It's the most difficult job on this earth plane, parenting, because a parent should have inner resources to have a healthy sense of I am. A Then only they can actually um, give that safe, unconditional, secure, loving space to their child. Parenting is anesthesia, the subject in Vladimir Meck's books. There are several volumes of those beautiful books, 7 or 8. I highly recommend those books. And in the third volume, she says the, the job of a parent is to create space of love, nothing else. And that's the most toughest job, to create a space of love for the child, where the child can grow into who they are effortlessly, with ease. So, with healthy boundaries, this space of love becomes possible. And we can communicate assertively. We can say no if we have to, because we understand that this is a plane of limits. And sometimes we cannot do it. Sometimes it's not possible. We cannot do everything. So sometimes we have to say no. And we don't have to feel guilty or ashamed to say no. So that's what healthy boundaries does. It gives us the assertive um, way of communicating. And we feel this world is a safe place and it is a secure place and our needs can be met here. So within these boundaries, within these limits, we can be who we are. So this is the mystery of physical dimension. We have to be within the limited and we have to explore the unlimited. We have to respect our sexuality. We have to respect our body. We have to respect our emotions. We also have to respect the other person's boundaries. And within these limits, we can actually discover our infinite nature. Dr. John Bradshaw, he calls it as healthy shame. This healthy shame is really the foundation for spirituality. Without a healthy shame, um, spiritual growth is not possible. So, we talked about certain childhood wounds that can lead to lack of boundaries. Let us look into um, these wounds a little more deeply. Try to understand what happens during childhood and how we lose these boundaries and how we break that natural innate trust that we are born with. So, when we were born into this physical plane as a fetus into the mother's womb, we come with um, the same essence of the source. And we come with tremendous trust, enormous trust upon parents, tremendous trust in this world. Okay, I am now going to be born into this world. I can be who I am in this world. I can safely explore um, myself in this world. So these are the thoughts of a newborn, a fetus. But as soon as they enter into the mother's womb, many times it is not the same um, the same world that they came from into the mother's womb, because mother is going through certain things in her own life. Mother is mother may be having emotional issues, maybe having a tough life, maybe she's not getting enough love, so she's going through certain challenges. In that case, the baby, the fetus, experiences all the emotions of the mother. And especially if the mother is not wanting the baby, mother is not ready for motherhood, then the trust is immediately broken, because the child came with so much of trust, and seeing this mother's benevolence, or sorry, the mother lacking, um not wanting the child, or mother's indifference towards pregnancy and motherhood. So it breaks the trust of the child. And later, when the child is born, during the first few months, the child lives in a oneness state with the mother. So a child cannot experience um, this world, the senses in the world, as an independent I. There is no independent I at this stage. There is only we. The child is one with the mother. The child experiences all the feelings, emotions, sensations of the mother, thoughts, beliefs. So, what a mother is going through, the child is also going through them. And at this stage, the child requires the mirroring of a loving person to see who he is or she is. So the mother actually serves as a mirror, as a bridge to the outside world. This is the primal relationship. The relationship with mother is the primal relationship. It's the most primitive relationship. And it is our bridge into the world. It's the first step we are taking into the world from that divine higher, higher realms. And it is actually the foundation for our future relationships. If this bridge is strong, if this bridge is based on trust based on love, based on um, nurturing, caring, warmth, affection, um, then our future relationships will also be based on, will be exactly like this primal relationship. So, if if a child is unwanted as a female, as a girl, then this interpersonal bridge is broken. And how can this child, when they grow up into an adult, they can expect a beautiful relationship? Because the foundation is not strong, the foundation is broken. So this is what happens in many relationships. What we mirror, what our mother mirrored to us when we were an infant, that is exactly what our relationships are also mirroring us now. We carry those same wounds now because this is not healed. So it is very important to understand this primal relationship, this interpersonal bridge. And once um, this once we have a very safe, secure mirroring during our infant stage, then as an infant, as a newborn baby, we feel that, okay, I am safe. I can be who I am. My needs are met. My mother is there to take care of me. Because you are dependent as this baby, you are dependent on your mom or dad or some adult who is very nurturing, loving, caring. And I can be who I am now. So another challenge a infant faces, another big challenge a infant faces is how the mother or father is taking care of themselves. We may think that an infant is a helpless child, is very small, but there is enormous wisdom hidden in this child. This infant can perceive very clearly what the mom is going through, what the dad is going through. I remember my infant memories vividly. I recollected them during the inner child retreat. As an infant, just few months old baby, I could clearly perceive my mother's emotions, her fears, and my um dad's shame, my mom's fears and my dad's toxic shame. I perceived them clearly, and at that moment, I felt that it is not safe for me to be who I am because my mom is going through pain, my dad is going through pain, so I have to take care of them. So, this is what an infant does. It tries to take the entire responsibility of parents. So, they try to, at that time, at that stage, they try to go into a false role of pleasing the parent. This is very important to understand. Pleasing a parent is a false role. A child can never take care of parents' well being. Every parent has to be equipped with their own inner resources to take care of themselves. Otherwise, they are actually doing harm to their children. Outwardly, everything will look good. Parents will provide food, provide good education, provide healthy diet, clothing, a nice house to live in. But if they are not taking care of themselves, if they don't have enough resources within themselves to take care of their life, to take care of their emotions, if they are not deriving that love from each other in the relationship, then the child perceives this. The child knows subconscious language. They are they're very wise beings, children. They know that my mom is not feeling safe. My dad is not feeling safe. How can I um, how can I grow into who I am? It's not possible. First, I have to please my mom, please my dad, take care of their needs, and then I will think about becoming who I am. So at that moment, something very tragic happens in a child's life. They deviate from their natural course of path of, um, and they come into a false role where they have to please their mom or dad, where they have to take care of their shame, their fears, their wounds. And unconsciously, this child carries those wounds forever. They may grow up into adults without knowing, but they carry the wounds of the parents. So when they grow up into adults, um, they tend to act exactly like their parents or tend to act in an opposite way to their parents. Both are coming out of the same misbelief, the same mistrust. In both cases, they are not who they are. So if we carefully look into our life, if look into our actions, how we behave in a relationship, how we behave in relationship with our children, we can understand. Am I behaving like my mom, like my dad? Or am I behaving exactly opposite to my mom or dad? So there are certain parameters we can actually use to understand this. First thing is the emotional boundaries. Do we respect our emotions as they are? Do we respect other people's emotions as they are? It is a great test. When in a relationship, if you can accept the other person's emotions as they are without getting triggered as the wounded child, then it is a great test for your healthy boundaries. But if you are not able to accept the anger in your partner or anger in your child, the grief in your child or the grief in your partner, then it means that deep within you there is a wounded child whose emotions are not acknowledged, accepted. So you have to go back into that child and then allow that child to express its anger. First, you have to tell this child it's okay to be angry. Many of us, as children, we were denied this privilege to be angry towards our parents. No one has this privilege. Very rarely one gets this privilege to be angry on their parents. It's not disrespecting parents. Anger is a natural emotion. No child ever disrespects a parent. That is the law. For every child, parent is equal to God. But anger has nothing to do with that. Anger is a natural emotion. And anger on parents is natural for a child. So when this anger is repressed by the parent, how dare you, how can you shout at me? How can you show your anger on me? So it represses those emotions, and the child feels that I don't have this freedom to be angry. So they either lose touch with this anger, the part of themselves, a huge part of themselves, they lose touch with. It is like an abandoned aspect of themselves. It becomes part of their shadow. And in that shadow is locked up so much of energy. Tremendous energy is locked up in that shadow. Because anger is so much energy. And we don't dare to look into that part. Shame, guilt, anger, grief, they're all stored in that part. It is a dark part of ourselves. But that is the part which has the key to our strength, to our wholeness, to our wellness, to our health. The shadow is the key. And this wounded child is the key. Without acknowledging, embracing this shadow, without embracing this wounded child, we cannot become whole. We cannot regain the trust. We cannot create healthy boundaries. We cannot create healthy relationships. Otherwise, our life becomes incomplete. We are only living with a small fraction of our spiritual essence, and most of it is hidden inside the shadow. But this shadow occasionally comes to the surface, especially in relationships. This anger comes, this fear comes, and we start seeing the other person as bad, as not loving, as angry person. We start blaming others. So this is what happens. We start seeing the other person through our shadow self, unresolved shadow, unacknowledged shadow. So, and the second parameter is the sexual boundaries. We have to rate ourselves with respect to emotional boundaries, how well we are doing. One being worst, 5 being excellent. We can rate ourselves with emotional boundaries, how well I am doing. Can I tell myself that I am a emotionally healthy person, which means that accepting all my emotions equally, which means that accepting all the emotions of the other person equally. Whether my partner is in anger or is in joy, it doesn't matter to me. I see them beyond these emotions. If we can say that, then we can rate ourselves as 5. So, and the second parameter is sexual boundaries. What is a sexual boundary? Sexuality is the most primitive aspect of who we are. We cannot deny it. And if it is denied early in the childhood, then it is the greatest wound we carry. If we are not accepted for who we are as a girl or as a boy when we are in the mother's womb, then it is a big wound. And we carry this entire lifetime. And it gives many complications with respect to sexuality, with respect to infertility and conception problems. And these people also tend to attract sexual abuse, incest in their lifetime. They carry unresolved rage. Rage is a very, very toxic emotion. It has anger in it, it has shame in it. So if someone has this if someone is carrying this rage because of childhood sexual abuse or incest, it is very important to go through a therapy, go see a therapist and work on it. It's very important um, to take help, to take some guidance. And with sexual boundaries, we can actually rate ourselves from 1 to 5. Can I say that I love myself and I like myself as a boy or a girl, as a man or a woman? And this question is very important. If we cannot like ourselves as a man, as a woman, then the other person in our relationship will also not like us or love us as a man or a woman. And the roots again can be traced back to childhood, where we are not accepted for our gender or subjected to sexual abuse um, or shameful acts or words with respect to sexuality. And this leads to lack of a healthy sexual life. It leads to the children who grow up with this kind of a shame, this kind of wounds, sexual wounds. When they grow up into adults, they carry a shame-based sexuality. Their sexuality is not healthy. They are ashamed of their sexuality. They feel guilty of their sexuality. So it creates tremendous problems, especially in women. I have seen in my therapy practice many such women develop PCOD, problems with fertility and conception, and thyroid issues. So also sexual frigidity. So these same and sexuality, they are both closely connected, closely linked. And sexuality and spirituality are also closely linked. People with sexual problems, they tend to have spiritual problems, and the other way also. So, and the third kind of boundary, the parameter, is the physical boundaries. How good are we with our physical boundaries? Respecting our body, respecting our physical aspects of life, like your body, your wealth, your possessions, money. If we can respect all these, and if we can derive happiness out of what we already have, that is an indicator of healthy sense of physical boundaries. If we can never be happy with content with what we have, then it indicates that we lack healthy physical boundaries. So these three are very important: emotional boundaries, and sexual boundaries, and physical boundaries. So if we lack these boundaries, then what happens? As we discussed, we become dependent adults, codependent adults, or adult wounded children. That means we actually grew up in the physical body. We grow up into 6 feet or 5 feet with 60 kg or 70 kg weight, but we are acting as a small child, as an infant or a toddler, or a school going child, this wounded child is there inside, and it comes out predominantly, most significantly, in a relationship. So it's very important to use our relationships to heal these wounds. And there is another kind of wound that I will briefly discuss, which is very important, and then we will do a meditation. A spiritual wound. What is a spiritual wound? This also happens very early in the life. Spiritual wound is the loss of beingness. So look at a child, a newborn child, or a few months old baby. This child just is happy always. It just rests on the bed, smiling, or with its innocence. When all its needs are met, then this child is really happy. It is just, it feels that it can just be. There is nothing this child has to do. The child has to go nowhere. This child can just be. And this is a profound state, being. And many spiritual seekers, they try to reach this state of being by doing great sadhana or meditation. But this state is already there in a child. The child is already in this state of being. And this being has to be preserved. And this state of being is lost, then the entire childhood and adulthood are ruined. This is a spiritual wound. And it is such a tremendous, beautiful thing to be preserved. Parents has to value this beingness of a baby, of a child. They have to protect it. If they shame the child, then this beingness is lost. If the parents don't take care of themselves, then the beingness of the child is lost. So the responsibility of a parent is tremendous. And mostly it is being able to take care of oneself rather than taking care of the child. If a parent can take care of themselves very well, that is the greatest gift they can give to a child. If they can take care of their emotions, if they can take care of their bodies, if they can take care of their love, if they can take care of their sexuality, that is the biggest gift they can give to the child, because this child is is uh, is a highly intuitive being there. You are actually holding a highly intuitive being in your hands, a divine being, a cosmic being. And this being can perceive everything about you. You cannot hide anything from this child. Your life is naked in front of this child. Everything the child can perceive about you. So when the adult, the parent, has this attitude that I have to take care of myself, that is the biggest gift that I can give to my son or daughter, and I welcome this child, and I'm just a, a caretaker, a nurturer, a caregiver. I'm nothing else. A child has everything that is needed to become into a complete adult. So when that happens, then this child trust that I can be who I am. And I can continue in this state of being. I can have all my needs met. And it is safe to grow up. And how beautiful it is if the child grows up in such fashion. Then the child has enormous trust in the world, enormous trust in the parent, enormous trust in itself. And this trust is carried into their school going years, into their adolescence, and into their adult life. This is the most valuable thing that a child can carry into the adulthood, the trust. And with this trust, when they step into a relationship, it will be beautiful. So, trust is very, very, very valuable. Trust makes the whole relationship beautiful. It can heal the other person, even though the other person has their own wounds. If one person is carrying this gift of trust into a relationship, it can heal the relationship. It can heal all the wounds of the partner. Because no matter what happens, you only and always see that part of your partner which is trustworthy. The divine aspect, the spirit of your partner. So it's very important for all of us to go back and rediscover this inner trust. That this world is safe. That I am intended with love into this world. And I can trust that everything that I need will always be there. Such a profound thing, such a profound belief to grow up with. If a child can have this belief into their adulthood, I trust that everything that I need will always be there at the right time and at the right place. And with such a trust, the child attracts the same energy, the same situations, the same kind of people into their life. Otherwise, the adult always sees the world through the wounds of the childhood. Always sees that, okay, people, I cannot trust them. I cannot trust the situation. I cannot trust this company, or I cannot trust this boss. I cannot trust this female. And without trust in relationship, people either try to hold on or try to abandon. It's a problem with because they don't know how much to hold and how much to leave without trust. They either hold people too tightly because they don't trust. If they leave, people may run away. People may abandon them. So that is the fear. So they try to hold on. Or they may abandon. Even before the other person rejects me, I will only run away from this relationship. That is also out of lack of trust. So it's very important now in the meditation, we will actually go back into this divine presence, the beingness of an infant, because that is where the uh, most harmful or biggest spiritual wounds happen to people. The loss of beingness. And as this little infant, when we look at our parents, when we perceive their emotions, What do you feel about them? It's very important to ask this question and tell yourself that I am only a child. The past is over. I don't have to take care of my parents' problems. I can take care of myself, and I am there for my child. And this child within me can grow up with trust, enormous trust in life. So it's very, very important. Otherwise, our whole life becomes an effort to please others. How many of us, in how many instances, do we try to impress others or please others? Because we were accustomed, too much used to this false role of trying to please others. Trying to become an achiever so that we matter, so that we feel that I also matter. See, this is the voice of a child. I also matter. The child wanted to receive this acknowledgement and it didn't receive. So now this child is trying so hard to achieve things in life, to become a star, to earn a lot of name and fame. But even though one becomes an achiever, one achieves everything, gains money or wealth or fame or name, recognition, but still deep within them, they are empty. They have this lack. When all these things outwardly, whatever they achieved, if they go away, they again return back to that emptiness. So many people, they go into depression when they lose what they earn. If they lose their money, their status, or their name, they go into depression because this is a false role, and this need can never be satisfied. This need of a child can never be satisfied in a false role. So, what is the solution? We have to go back into this child, and whatever unmet needs are there for this child, we have to assure the child that I am there for you. I will give you everything that you missed: the safety, protection, love, touch, empathy, compassion, warmth, caring, freedom, emotional acceptance, everything that you missed. Now I am going to give you. You have to literally become this compassionate adult for that child within you. That is the solution. Because this wounded child is frozen in time and space in the past. And this past is no more relevant now. It is over. But still, it is still stuck in the same old time and space. Now it is your responsibility to bring this wounded child from the past into the present and then hold the hand of this child and tell this child, I am there for you. Past is over. Together now we can have a beautiful life with enormous trust, love, and empathy. Then we can really see our relationships in a very different way. We start seeing the same person, but now in a very different way. We may feel that this person is having so much love for us already. This person is having so much of kindness and empathy towards us. This person is having tremendous patience. All those beautiful qualities of the person we can start seeing when their trust is regained. And we can also see the world very differently now. We can start seeing that this world is so beautiful. It is already always supporting us, empowering us, giving us opportunities to discover ourselves more and more. So we have to learn to see this world through the eyes of a child, the eyes of a wonder child, not a wounded child. We have to move from the wounded child to a wonder child. A child full of awe and wonder in its eyes will see this world as a beautiful thing. So, friends, I request you to close your eyes. We'll do a short meditation. Relax your body. Relax your breath. Gently breathe in, breathe out. As you breathe in, breathe out, allow yourself to connect to this part within you, which is the child, the small child within you, who is less than 5 years old. Just be there for this child. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Allow yourself to feel this child within you. Bring this child in front of you now. This little boy, little girl. Just be there for this child. Nothing to do, nothing to say. Breathe in, breathe out with your entire presence, and just be there for this child. With each in breath and each out breath, You are bringing your entire presence and just be there. Look deeply into this child. Look into the eyes of this child. The child is innocent. It's divine. Now, become ready to listen to this child. To its emotions. Allow yourself to be in this beautiful state where you can listen to how this child is feeling. Perhaps the child is feeling fearful or angry or sad or feeling ashamed. Tell this child, all your emotions are valid for me. Allow yourself to just be with your breath. Bring your presence more and more into your body. Become more and more alert when you listen to the emotions of this child. Now gently extend your hand and hold the hand of this little child. And welcome this child into your life. Let this child now sit or stand next to you. Tell this child, past is over. I am there for you. No matter what, I am there for you. Allow yourself to now feel this precious gift. This child as the most precious thing in the world. This is the state of pure being. Simply rest your awareness in this state of pure being. You and the child are now becoming one, merging into this pure state of being. Feel this natural trust that you are born with. Allow this natural trust to flow into your life. I trust this world. I trust my life. I trust the universe. Now allow yourself to look at all the people in your relationships through the eyes of this beautiful child. Through this new feeling, this new state of being of enormous trust. Look at all these people. Look at all the beautiful qualities in them: love, compassion, patience, wisdom, empathy, unconditional acceptance towards you. And let your heart now be content, be filled with gratitude for all these beautiful people in your life. Bring your hands together and go down to the divine essence within you. Feel this respect for yourself. Feel these healthy boundaries around you. I choose to respect my boundaries. I choose to respect my emotional boundaries. Respecting all emotions equally. I choose to respect my sexual boundaries. Respecting my sexuality and the limits of my sexuality. Returning to a healthy sexuality. Respecting my physical boundaries. physical body and all the physical aspects of my life. Feeling this, feeling content with what you have already, all the good things, all the beautiful things that you already have. Allowing yourself to feel as if you are a tree standing on the ground with strong roots protruding, going deep into the earth. Now allow yourself to feel the strong trunk of the tree, and this tree growing, expanding its branches towards the sky, growing its leaves, growing its flowers, and then finally its fruits. Feel this beautiful, divine, cosmic energy, this life force flowing through the top of your head and joining your belly and joining your legs, joining your feet into the ground. You are this spiritual being, spiritual essence in the physical body. Feel this enormous respect for the physical plane, Mother Earth, and all the physical aspects of your life. Thank them. Whenever you are ready, you can now slowly move your fingers and toes, move your neck. Gently place your fingertips on your eyes. Open your eyes slowly when you are ready. That's very good, friends. You can now open your eyes, come back to the present moment, feel your body. Okay. It's wonderful. I would like to um, thank the Divine Feminine Sangha and everyone who are part of this seminar today. for creating this beautiful space. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kiran Garu. Much. It is amazing. The meditation is very amazing. It was very peaceful and very intense. So, and whatever you spoke about the shame or the anger, they're all so beautiful because a lot of people, as you mentioned, they just shout at their kids when they show anger. But you beautifully mentioned that anger is one emotion that they have to really express. So that is amazing. And about the shame also, that good shame or the healthy shame, a lot of people doesn't know about it, and it's beautiful that you explained it very clearly. So there's one, I think, couple of questions. They sent it privately. Is it okay, Kiran Garu? Do you have time to take a couple of questions?
Sure, Pranay.
Thank you. Um, one lady, she's asking, mm, yeah, someone violated my sexual boundaries in my teenage, and now it was very difficult for me to accept my partner. And slowly I accepted my partner, and now I have a 6-year-old child. And every time I have this fear about someone violating her sexual boundaries. So, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. So, is it?
It's the fear of your inner child. So it's very important to treat this wound. So you have to take professional help, because whenever there is a sexual wound, sexual abuse, there is rage, as I explained, which is very difficult to heal on your own, because rage has both shame and anger. So you need professional help. So please take any guidance or assistance from a inner child therapist who can help you. And after that, you can start practicing, embracing this child and telling this child, whatever has happened, it's not because of who you are. You are pure divine essence. Whatever has happened, it's because of only the past. It's not because of who you are. And that will actually dissolve the shame. So you can start practicing this and also take some professional help.
She's asking, can I do something to my daughter before I do anything to myself? Because I feel my emotions may affect her. I'm not really sure. Yeah.
And this is something that as parents we have to realize. We need not fix our children. We have to only fix ourselves. The children, they can, they're already beautiful divine beings. They can grow into their fullest potential. It's more about working on ourselves. So unconsciously your child is absorbing your emotions, you're transferring them unconsciously. So you can tell to yourself, my pain is my pain. I choose not to transfer it to my daughter.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much. There's one more question again privately. So, one other lady, she's asking, she has been married for more than 25 years. And now my husband revealed that he had some premarital affair. So, it is very hard for me to accept and forgive him. Can you advise on this?
Yes. Yeah. You just be with your emotions, because you have to be honest with yourself to come to a level of forgiveness. It's not very easy. Sometimes it takes a lot of effort and time. And the first step is completely acknowledging your own emotions. And it is a reflection of your own inner state. When your husband mentioned this, and your natural feelings or response of hate or fear or rejection. So these are the things that your inner child is showing you. So when you are carrying this rejection from your childhood, naturally you cannot forgive your husband. But when you heal this child and give complete acceptance to this child, then you return to a state of wholeness. Then your husband, when you look at your husband from this new perspective, forgiveness flows effortlessly. And you will even be grateful for your husband for being honest. So it's important for you to acknowledge this rejection that you are feeling now.
Thank you so much, Kiran Garu. And someone in YouTube, they're saying, I think they're just saying, excellent session, sir. The meditation was intense. And thank you so much, Kiran Garu and Divine Feminine Sangha for organizing this seminar. I cried again. Very healing. Thank you. And thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session. Wonderful session. Thank you, Kiran Garu. I think there are a few more comments saying thank you, and it was very intense. It is really, truly amazing, Kiran Garu, for this wisdom session and also the meditation. And thank you from Divine Feminine Sangha team. It wouldn't have been possible for the whole team was completely behind this. Devi Chekagaru, Gayatri, and Nivya, Ravali, Priyanka, Bindu, and so many other people are working relentlessly behind this to happen this. So thank you so much for the whole team, and thank you so much, Kiran Garu, for being with us today. Thank you so much.
And all the best for this beautiful.
Thank you, Kiran Garu. One small thing, I just saw that someone messaged in Zoom, can I get Kiran Sir's phone number?
Okay. So they can actually contact me through Facebook.
Okay.
Message me on Messenger. I usually respond to all the messages.
So my dear friends, you can just search Kiran Anumala Setti, and then you can send a message to Sir on his Facebook. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kiran sir and DFS, for this beautiful session. Oh, thank you. And just one other request, Kiran sir, because a lot of women, they have gone through so many sexual abuses and so many sexual intimacy issues. So we were thinking to start another 11-day session only on healing sexual abuse. It will be great if you can come one day and take a session on that as well.
Yeah, that would be my privilege, and I would definitely be willing to be part of that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you all, my dear friends. Thank you. See you again, sir. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too.